of that Kelly and got Dallas, Texas. Shout out to my missus. Hey, you might call me petty, look, but I can get you wretched. I got rich off grass. I got rich off gas. I got rich off grass. I got rich off gas. I ain't had to sell no work. I ain't had to sell no glass. I got rich off grass. 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 I got rich off gas.
Heavyweight title for the 10th time into double figures against old foe Luis Ortiz. It's been a great week, hasn't it, Matt, here?
Yeah, it's been brilliant, good buzz. Deontay Wilder looks very relaxed, very focused. He knows Ortiz is a serious threat, very crafty southpaw, very controls the distance so well. And we know he carries power. He hurt Wilder last time, had him out on his feet. But, you know, Wilder, when he needed to, pulled the punches out of the bag.
Several thousand fans packed in here just for the weigh-in. They're always big events. We've seen it over the years. The likes of Ricky Hatton, who dragged so many Brits over here when he fought Mayweather and Pacquiao. The Mexicans, of course, Morales and Barrera with their crowds. The Puerto Ricans, Canelo, so much. Floyd Mayweather, of course, that have owned this MGM ground for many years. Leonard Ellaby here, his advisor. So many people around. Chris Eubank, we've seen Scott Welsh, former WBO title challenger. He's been around all week. Jamie Moore and Carl Frampton popping down. Ben Davidson as well, Tyson Fury's trainer here on a scouting mission. People want to be around Deontay Wilder, don't they?
Yeah, I think his star quality, his profile has really grown. The fight with Tyson Fury, controversial draw, but his star quality, his profile has certainly grown over the last 12 months or so. You know, he carries that absolute scary, concussive one-punch power, you know, and his box office because of that. So, you know, we can see here, as you said, Adam, a lot of celebrities, a lot of sports stars coming here want to see Deontay Wilder. He is Mr. Excitement right now.
Yeah, as Matt said, we saw his brutal power up close and personal last time in New York when he dispatched Dominic Breazeale. He couldn't do that with Tyson Fury nearly in the 12th round, but of course the Fury rematch set for February the 22nd, we believe, here in Vegas, although Shelley Finkel was telling me that there are other offers from around the world. It's a massive fight. But as we know, best laid plans and all that, and Luis Ortiz want to rip up the script. Anthony Joshua losing to Andy Ruiz in June. You never know in heavyweight boxing, but that's the plan, that it's Fury in February.
Yeah, but like you say, Adam, this is heavyweight boxing. It only takes one punch. We've seen that Luis Ortiz does carry the power to hurt Deontay Wilder. He's coming 20 pounds lighter, we're hearing, for this fight. He's worked a lot on his conditioning. He punched himself out last time. Don't expect that to happen again. I think if he does get Wilder hurt, I think this time he'll close the show. You know, that's going to be a lot easier said than done. We know Wilder carries that big power.
Larry Wade just walked past us. He's a conditioner who's been looking after the likes of Badu Jackie. Whipped KSI into shape a couple of weeks ago with that victory over Logan Paul. And he's been in Camp Ortiz. 12 weeks they've had. They had 6 weeks before the fight, the first one in Brooklyn. 12 this time, 3 hard months. He is going to come in later. They couldn't have done more for him, Luis Ortiz, and now it's up to whether he believes he can carry on where that 7th round left off.
Yeah, I think he feels that he punched himself out, that he didn't have enough gas in the tank. This time he's had a lot more time to prepare. He'll have worked on certain things. We know his technical ability. He's gifted there. He's so experienced, top-class amateur. Conditioning-wise, he's worked hard. He's lost a lot of weight. He'll be a lot faster. If he does get Wilder hurt again, I think he will manage to close the show. But I'm not sure. I just cannot see past the Wilder victory. He's in the form of his career. He's looked devastating last time out against Brazil. His confidence is sky high, and I just think Wilder wins this fight.
There's been a lot of mutual respect, Matt, between the fighters, because they've both got children who have had illnesses, who've had difficulties, they've had to overcome. Spina bifida, of course, for Deontay Wilder's daughter, who he was telling us this week is now 14 and doing so well. And it's wonderful to see that outside of the ring. Inside the ring, they're going to be you know, wanting to knock each other out, and they both predict a knockout. But outside the ring, there's a huge amount of fondness between the fighters. I think that's a really good thing to see.
Yeah, and I always like that. But I think with Deontay Wilder, you've got two different people. You've got Deontay Wilder, the person, and then you've got the Bronze Bomber. And we've seen the Bronze Bomber when he went into beast mode the week of the Brazil fight. He was, you know, a different person to what we've seen this week. Nonetheless, he's very focused. He's relaxed. I think he knows Ortiz is a, you know, a dangerous fight here. So, you know, I expect to see the best of Deontay Wilder.
It's a good point you make. The Bronze Bomber who makes these sort of quite outrageous predictions at times, and Bomb Squad, he lets it off all around the media room whenever he can, you know, spooking people. And then actually, we interviewed him yesterday, and you put the mic down and you chat to him, and I had 10 minutes with him off camera, and he's actually absolutely delightful. He's a lovely guy. He's very real, talking about AJ and RUIZ, and he's got a lot of respect for all the fighters that get in the ring. You know, he's a good guy, Deontay.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't see that side of him. You know, he goes, he's beast mode, he's Bronze Bomber, he's fired up. You know, he's a devastating puncher, scary knockout power, really. I can't really think of a fighter that had as concussive one-punch power in recent times, but you know, he is a nice person outside of it, very personable, you know, got a great story, and I think it's good when people get to see that side of him.
What about Wilder back in Vegas? Because it's been a long time, January 2015 when he won this belt, and then he had to go the distance. We know he went the distance against Fury, but a very rare thing for Deontay Wilder. So he probably wants to come back. He knows about the history of this place, the MGM Grand. He probably just wants to make an absolutely devastating statement.
Yeah, well, his star quality is growing all the time. His profile is growing all the time. The last 12, 18 months, he's never been, you know, it's really grown. You know, and here in Vegas against Ortiz, a rematch fight, a fight that everyone knows poses a danger to Wilder. He'll be so up for it, but he's relaxed, he's focused, and he's, you know, he's got his mind on the job.
Big card as well, some real good names to look out for. And we welcome back Leo Santa Cruz, who's a three-weight world champion, of course, in this very arena. We saw him beat Carl Frampton. Carl, will there be a trilogy? I don't know. Leo was telling us this week he'd love to see that happen. He's going for a fourth weight division championship. You know, very rare in Mexican or American-Mexican history. We know Juan Manuel Marquez did it at 4 weights, but it'll be some achievement for Leo Santa Cruz. Some say it's a sort of soft way to do it, that he's maybe should be fighting the unification fights or the likes of Frampton again. But I tell you what, Santa Cruz gives value for money every time he fights. He's such good entertainment.
Great fighter to watch, throws so many punches, fights at such a hot pace. I would love to see a third Carl Frampton fight. I mean, both fights were epic battles, majority decisions. You know, one for Frampton.
Well, we're meeting up with Carl later, aren't we? He's in training over here with Jamie Moore.
And I know Frampton wants that third fight badly, you know. And I think all the boxing fans need to see
Carl was saying, why haven't we had it? You know, Leo says one thing and then, you know, another. And he told us, didn't he, this week? He was saying, I want the Carl Frampton fight. So he's got to get past Miguel Flores first. Great character, Miguel Flores, you know, wonderful being around him this week. And although he hasn't got as good a record as Santa Cruz, he's got a massive opportunity here. And he's got a style that I think is going to make Santa Cruz work really hard for this world title win.
Yeah, and you know, Santa Cruz, he's going for a world title in a 4th weight division, so that's motivation enough, but he cannot afford to look past Flores. You know, he's been in bigger fights against more difficult opponents. He's got to stay focused though, he's got to get the win here. If he wants to move on and have those bigger fights with Carl Frampton, cannot afford any slip-ups.
Yeah, really looking forward to Leo Santa Cruz. First on the scales, we're going to have Luis Neri, who's going to kick off the box office show here. Of course, it's pay-per-view on Fox here, Sky Sports back home in Britain. After the Calum Smith Big Ben in Liverpool, you can tune in through the night, and you're going to see Luis Neri first up. And he's a really interesting character, this Luis Neri. Many people believe the 24-year-old from Tijuana is the next big thing in boxing. He had a lot of controversy around drugs and also weight making over in Japan with a couple of victories. He is unbeaten. And I tell you what, he's hooked up with your old mate, Freddie Roach, Hall of Fame trainer. Freddie's had him for a few weeks and he's really excited about this guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Freddie was telling me yesterday, he said, you know, this kid Neri, he can really, really fight. He said he's a bit wild in and out of the ring, but I told him straight, if you don't knuckle down, I ain't interested. He said, but ever since he's come to me, he's really worked hard. He's been on time in the gym. Anything I've asked him to do, he's done it. He said he's a real talent.
He's in with Emmanuel Rodriguez. He's unbeaten in 30, Luis Neri. A lot of noise here. And they have had all the entertainment over the last hour and a half here. I think the fans have been waiting.
Let's do this. You better speak up now if ever hold your peace.
Jimmy Lennon Jr., the legendary MC. I love Jimmy, I love Michael Buffer. They are boxing, aren't they? He's just sat back, isn't he, Jimmy? Just waiting for his moment. He's seen it all before, all the hype.
Yeah, and as you say, his voice, and as well as Michael Buffer's, is so synonymous with the big-time boxing, staying up, watching the big fights from America. They're the voices that that resonate with that, and he really gets to hype it up.
Got Stephen Espinosa, the head of Showtime. He's around here. Leonard Ellaby. What are they all cooking up? There's, you know, we love the subplots around Fight Week as well. You know, we think that Wilder Fury will be announced in the hours after this one, providing Deontay comes through February the 22nd. But you know, Fox is now really taking over in America, alongside, of course, DAZN, who have put a massive thing together with getting Anthony Joshua and Golovkin and Canelo. It's a real battle in itself, isn't it? Showtime still plenty of shows. HBO are packed up in boxing, so it's sort of what happens next in the next couple of years here. It's as fascinating as what happens in the ring.
I'm telling you, people are as addicted to the skullduggery and the moves being made in boxing as they are to the actual epic fights inside the ring itself. You know, Top Rank done a massive deal with ESPN. They've signed Tyson Fury there. You know, so many big fights over the years. Bob Arum's Top Rank.
Top Rank, Bob Arum, Al Heyman, PBC. That's the big battle outside the ring. And you throw Eddie and DAZN in as well. Yeah. You know, what are they making of Eddie? He's come over, you know, he's flexed his muscles, he's put on some great shows, you know, and obviously doing it in Britain as well.
Yeah, I mean, what Eddie has done for boxing in Britain, Sky, you know, the pay-per-view, the Anthony Joshua packing out not just arenas but stadiums, fight after fight, you know, really has put Britain and UK boxing so high up on the map. And you know, he's done that big deal then with DAZN. He's put on some big shows out here, so some great fighters. You know, Devin Haney, one that jumps to mind. So you know, it's yeah, there's moves being made left, right, and centre in boxing right now.
Still nothing like a Vegas Fight Week, a weigh-in. Jimmy Lennon has now taken the microphone, so we're just going to step aside.
And silver championship. And a classic battle of Mexico versus Puerto Rico, and a battle of former world champions. First, please welcome from Vega Baja, Puerto Rico. He's a world rank contender, former world champion. Please welcome Emmanuel Manny Rodriguez.
Emmanuel Rodriguez here from Puerto Rico. He's a good fighter. Wins over Paul Butler, Jason Maloney, but he was taken out by Inoue in Glasgow. I mean, there's no disgrace in that.
No, absolutely no shame in losing to Inoue, an absolute beast of a fighter, one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. Massive puncher as well. Won world titles in numerous weight divisions. One of the best fighters in the world right now, in a way. So there's certainly no disgrace there at all from Rodriguez. He was impressive against Paul Butler. You know, this is a tough fight, but Luis Neri, as we were speaking earlier, Adam, someone that a lot of people are saying a lot of good things about. Freddie Roach really singing his praises.
Here is Emmanuel Rodriguez. Looking in tip-top shape. Haven't seen a lot of him this week. Kept himself to himself. A private camp.
Emmanuel Rodriguez weighs in at the bantamweight limit of 118 pounds, 118.
8 stone 6, bang on for Rodriguez.
First win and his 12th consecutive knockout victory. Here is the undefeated top-ranked world contender, Luis Pantera Neri.
Here he is, Luis Neri. Could he be the future? Look at this. Maybe he's tight. Bob Bennett there, the commissioner for the Nevada Athletic Commission. He just wants to make sure he stays still. He had the problems in Japan. Yeah, Freddie looking slightly worried here.
Yeah, he's tight on the weight there for sure.
Luis Neri weighs in over the limit of 119 pounds. He must make 118 pounds for this world title.
A pound over.
He'll have a couple of hours to come back and make that 118-pound weight limit.
So boos there for Luis Neri, and this is the problem with him, that for all the talent and all the destructive power he's got, the southpaw skills, he looks $1 million, but there has been problems with weight before. Freddie was telling us about his dedication. He's had him under lock and key for the last few weeks. Maybe it's not been enough, or maybe he needs to move up.
You know, Freddie said to me that he works really hard. He heard a lot of rumors about him, but he cannot fault his work ethic in the gym. You know, what you do in the gym is what you do outside of the gym. You know, an active knife and fork can undo all the good work in the gym, and lack of discipline, you know, it's been a problem for this guy.
We've seen enough weigh-ins over the year. I knew when he got on the scales and raised his hands, there were problems. We were here when Jose Luis Castillo weighed 5 pounds over against Diego Corrales. There was no way that fight was happening. This is a pound over. It could happen because it's only a pound, but it's still a lot of weight to give up. WBC's silver title on the line. It's not a world title, but it's not good.
No, it's not good. And, you know, a pound, it is only a pound, but a pound's a lot when you've already taken maybe 7 or 8 or 9 pounds out. And, you know, he'll have been sweating it out this morning. And, you know, it makes you wonder, have they misjudged it with the scales they were using? A little bit out of, you know, he has to go away now and sweat this pound out. He's got a couple of hours to do it. I don't expect him not to get it off, but, you know, it's certainly not ideal.
All right, fans, we are ready to continue with our official.
You know, it does suggest as well that he's been struggling.
He was 5 pounds over in Japan. He reduced it to 3 pounds. He lost his title on the scales. There is an issue here. We hope it's cleared up with Luis Neri.
The former interim super bantamweight world champion from Mexico City. Please welcome Julio Pollito Ceja.
Julio Ceja, what a great character. He's been very lively all this week in Vegas. We remember him, of course, Matt, when he came over to Doncaster to the Keepmoat Stadium, tackling Jamie McDonnell, long way from there.
Yeah, and he gave him a great fight. I think he lost that fight on a majority decision. Jamie McDonnell, the homeboy in Doncaster, but that was a really good performance from Ceja. But, you know, Figueroa, you know, undefeated, 22 years old, really improving all the time.
Yeah, Brandon Figueroa, the younger brother of Omar. Brandon is 22, unbeaten in 20 fights, WBA champion at 8 stone 10.
Bantamweight championship of the world. First, we present the challenger, Mexico's hard-hitting world ranked contender. Please welcome to the scale, Julio Pollito Ceja.
Former WBC super bantamweight champion, currently ranked number 8 with the WBA. Breathing in as well here, Ceja, how tight is he? Again, confused looks.
Yeah, he looks tight there, and he's looking down, and the body language doesn't look good.
The weight limit on this fight is 122 pounds, a very strict one. Julio Ceja weighs in initially 126.5 pounds.
Wow.
Over the weight limit.
Wow.
WBA super bantamweight world
4.5 pounds overweight. What is going on here in Vegas tonight?
I mean, he's over the featherweight limit.
With a record of 20 wins, no losses.
He's over the featherweight limit. I think he's going to struggle to get 4.5 pounds off, or even if the commission will allow him.
Matt, this is not going to happen. We mentioned 2 minutes ago, Jose Luis Castillo, 5 pounds overweight. That was at lightweight. This is at super bantamweight. He's weighed in over the featherweight limit. There is no way he can fight for this world title tomorrow.
I agree with you, Adam. I think there's absolutely no chance that he can get that weight off. And you know, don't forget, he hasn't just come in 126.5. He's already took 6, 7, 8 pounds off this morning.
Figueroa absolutely on the money. Professional, weighs in at 8 stone 6. He cannot lose his title on the scales. But what will happen here with Julio Ceja? 2 dramatic starts, 2 weigh-ins, and 2 fighters overweight, 1 incredibly so.
Yeah, I think Neri will get the pound off. I think it's there to come off. It'll be tight and it'll be a bit of struggle, and it's certainly not ideal, but I think he will make weight. But, you know, for Figueroa, he will still want to defend his title. Even though giving the weight away, I'd imagine that he will still want to go ahead with the fight. But I expect Ceja to be seriously fined by the commission.
To face off, this is the second of our pay-per-view attractions, a special one in D. Brandon the Heartbreaker Figueroa defending his title against Julio Pollito Ceja.
He's a big favourite here, Figueroa, so you're right, he probably will want to go and defend his title, but I can't see any way Ceja will be able to take it back with him if he wins to Mexico. Surely he'll be fine, and he'll come in maybe a couple of pounds lighter if he can get weight off. There's going to be a lot of talking behind the scenes, Matt. We're talking about politics, and this is what happens when fighters don't make the weight. When there are issues, they have to be sorted out. Both teams have to be happy, because that's a huge amount of weight for Figueroa, the young 22-year-old, to be giving away on a night as important as this.
Yeah, well, as you mentioned earlier, the Castillo-Diego Corrales fight, and in the rematch, Castillo knocked him out. You know, Corrales had to concede a lot of weight, and when it happened again the third time, you know, they didn't go ahead with the fight. I do expect Figueroa to go ahead with the fight. You know, he's the favourite. It's 4.5 pounds. He'll be annoyed about it. I expect Ceja to be fined heavily by the commission, but I do think the fight will go ahead.
Very disappointing. Julio Ceja, absolutely wonderful to be around all week. He was so confident, and his family here and everything, and I'm absolutely flabbergasted, because he's been utterly professional all through his career. Maybe he just cannot, the body cannot take it anymore, and he cannot grind himself down. For Figueroa, who was basically advanced to world champion, he hasn't felt like he's really won it, so it's such a big night for him, this.
Huge night, and you know, it'd be important to him to win and to look good doing it. But you know, his team have to weigh it up now. Do we really want to give 4.5 pounds away? Can Ceja go back and lose some? Will the commission agree to that? You know, we don't know yet. There'll be a lot of heavy, hard conversations going on behind that curtain.
Yeah, we'll try and get behind the curtain a bit later on, Matt, and have a little spy and see what's going on. I tell you what, though, we got Leo Santa Cruz up next and Miguel Flores. That's another one that, you know, could be tight to weight. We don't know about that. What we do know is that Deontay Wilder and Luis Ortiz can't have any problems, and surely there'll be respect as well. So that'll be absolutely fine, because it's heavyweight, so they don't have to make weight. But drama on the undercard here. Already. Anyway, we wait. And I think Jimmy Lennon's just waiting for Leo Santa Cruz. I mean, you know, he should be fine, because he's moving up in weight. And Flores, you know, you'd expect to make it, but 2 out of 2, no.
Yeah, it's not been a good run so far in terms of making weight, but no, I think Santa Cruz, he'll be comfortable inside the weight, and also, you know, it's one of those things. What can you say? They've come over weight. 4.5 pounds, a lot of weight to come over. I mean, he's come over the featherweight limit. He's actually over the featherweight limit. This is a super bantamweight fight, so, you know, not good.
It's not good. And Luis Neri as well. Remember, he's got that pound to take off. There's a minor title on the line there. I'm sure that fight will be fine and go ahead, but just raises a couple of questions, you know, about him again. So hopefully the performance will be better and he can wipe that out. Maybe he needs more time with Freddie Roach. The Ceja thing, I can't believe. I mean, he seemed so relaxed all week. You know, he was at the workouts and he was, you know, messing about with his kid and all that. And it was, you know, it's really disappointing. Yeah, but there must be more to it.
And by how much? You know, to come 4.5 pounds over, he's actually come over the featherweight limit, which is so surprising. Like you say, Ceja out of character. You know, we weren't shocked that Neri came a little bit over. You know, he looked tight. He was staring down at the scales. He looked nervous when they were trying to balance it out. So, you know, but a pound over, maybe a miscalculation. I expect him to get that off, but yeah, absolutely shocked with Ceja coming so much over.
Brandon Figueroa, who's called the Heartbreaker because of the blue eyes. We did a fascinating interview with him when he was saying, And then you compare yourself with your brother Omar. He said, well, I'm a lot better looking. He said, that's what I do know. I'm far more handsome. I'm much more marketable. He's a character.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, Brandon, a great fighter in his own right, undefeated, 22 years old.
Let's bring Richard Schaefer in. Everybody's here. It's a fantastic weekend in Vegas, a heavyweight weekend. Deontay Wilder, he brings in the celebs, doesn't he? He brings in the big fighters to his show. He's dynamite to watch, isn't he, Deontay?
He's Bomb Squad! I can't do it quite as well as him, but no. He is a hell of a fighter, and he knows how to entertain as well. He gets the crowd going, and I just was with him backstage. He's in great shape. He knows as well how great shape Ortiz is in. Best shape we've ever seen him. He knows what to expect. He's mentally, physically ready. He can't wait to go.
Richard, you've seen so many fights over the years. This a rematch. It was a cracker last time in Brooklyn 20 months ago. Absolutely brilliant. Could have gone either way. Do you think we'll have more of the same, or do you think that the time will favour Wilder maybe, and Ortiz maybe possibly missed that opportunity when he had it?
Well, you know, rematch of a fight of the year. You guys know styles make fights. These styles are made for each other. That's why the first time around, they created a fight of the year. And so you can pretty much start with round, 13 or whatever it is. This is going to be a continuation of the first fight, toe-to-toe. And you've seen the material, the marketing material of Luis Ortiz. This is not the Luis Ortiz we've seen on the posters. This is a different Luis Ortiz. He's hungry, he's in unbelievable shape, he's ready to go. And the first time, you remember, the first fight, he had Wilder almost out, called on his feet. So can he do it again? That's the question. It's going to be unbelievable fight.
Yeah, we can't wait for that. In 2 weeks' time, we're off to Saudi Arabia for another rematch. Andy Ruiz and Anthony Joshua. That was one of the biggest upsets we've ever seen at the Garden in June. How do you assess the rematch?
Well, I personally think that Anthony Joshua underestimated Ruiz the first time, but at the same time, that win gave Andy Ruiz a lot of confidence, and he's going to go into that fight with a lot of confidence. And we'll see, you know, if he really got Anthony Joshua's number. We'll see, but it's so great to see the heavyweight division, the glamour division of the sport, again delivering fight after fight, almost weekend after weekend. It's a loaded division, it's a deep division. Some win, some lose, you have rematches. That is what makes a division exciting and interesting.
Richard, it's been a stellar year for the sport 2019 in terms of fights made and stories. What do we see ahead in 2020? Because you're close to all the big fights as they're made. What's going to develop? Obviously, we're looking possibly at Wilder Fury in February, but what else do you think might come our way in 2020 for the fans?
Well, there's going to be a lot of potential great matchups which can be made. Inoue at 118, a great fighter. I've heard a potential fight with Tete, but there is, of course, the heavyweight mix-up there. We might see Fury against Wilder, which will be a hell of a fight. And then who knows, depending on what happens with Joshua, a unification bout for all the belts. The 147, the welterweight division is loaded. We're going to see the return of Manny Pacquiao. We don't know yet against who, possibly against a Mikey Garcia. What a hell of a fight that would be. So there's so many great fights out there to be made. And it seems again, with Matchroom and with PBC and with Top Rank, they are all sort of like motivating each other to deliver big fights. And the winners are really us as fight fans.
And you say that Manny Pacquiao will be back in the ring. Rumors swirling around about Floyd Mayweather as well, making some sort of a return. Pictured at the basketball with Dana White. Will it be UFC? Will it be boxing, MMA? Who knows with Floyd? You and Leonard are pretty close to him. Come on, what's happening?
I know Leonard very well, and I'm very close with Floyd as well. And Floyd sure knows how to steal the thunder. He always somehow finds a way to inject himself into the conversation during a big fight weekend. So I would take his announcement with a grain of salt, you know. And so we'll see. Because on Tuesday, he said his health is his wealth, and that he is done with boxing. and then a few days later he tweets out that he is going to be coming back. So, you know, grain of salt.
Thanks, Richard. Thanks for now. That's you fighters, isn't it, Matt? You never know when you're going to sort of make an appearance, try and come back, or whether you're going to stop forever.
Yeah, it's that thing inside you that never really quite goes away, that itch that you just need to scratch every now and then. But I think, you know, Floyd flirts with the idea of coming back, and, you know, he's always lived a good life. He's always stayed in great physical shape. But, you know, what really has he got left to prove in the sport? Absolutely nothing.
Well, I tell you what, we haven't got little Floyd, but we got big Floyd. How are you, Floyd Senior? Good to see you.
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm really doing good, man. You know.
What do you think ahead of this one with Wilder and Ortiz? It's another great rematch. It's
Wilder and Ortiz, those guys, the heavyweights, right? I think the same guy that did it before, Ortiz.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ortiz. I think. Did Ortiz whoop him last time? There it is.
And finally, Floyd, before we get back to the weigh-in, Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz out in Saudi Arabia. Who wins that?
First joining us from Houston, Texas, by way of Morelia, Michoacan, Mexico. Please welcome the world-ranked contender known as El Michoacano, Miguel Flores.
I'm going to tell you the truth about that. I forgot how that fight went, though.
And now making his way onto the stage.
I seen the fights, but I forgot him.
He's the
I really did.
world champion in 3 weight
I didn't talk to nobody about it, but
we'll see what happens in the rematch. Take care, Floyd, and we'll get back to him. Thank you. Thanks very much, Floyd. Thank you. And here is Leo Santa Cruz coming in.
And here we go. We're ready to bring our fighters onto the scale at this time. As for the WBA Super Featherweight Championship of the World, the weight limit 130 pounds. First joining us to the scale, he is ready to seize the moment, making his first attempt at the world title, El Michoacano Miguel Flores. He's ready, 130 pounds, right at the limit for Miguel Flores, 130 pounds. And now
so bang on, Miguel Flores, no problem there. Massive opportunity for Flores, and here he is, Leo Santa Cruz.
El Terremoto Leo Santa Cruz.
The big smile as always, great character, brilliant fighter.
£129.5 for Leo Santa Cruz, 129.5.
Yep, both of those, no problem at all inside the super featherweight limit. We knew that would happen with Leo Santa Cruz, who's moving up, but it goes to show that, you know, that is professionalism.
Yeah, and that's the first fight where we get an actual, both guys have weighed in.
We've got to fight.
We've got to fight. So, yeah, Santa Cruz hoping to become a 4-weight world champion. Big fan favourite, huge support here, big cheer for him when he got on the scales, and he's always in great fights. Santa Cruz throws so many punches, sets a hell of a pace, and he's always very exciting to watch.
Really looking forward to seeing Santa Cruz back.
Featherweight Championship of the World, the co-main event, live tomorrow night on Fox Sports BBC pay-per-view.
Yep, a great hors d'oeuvre for the heavyweights. Huge respect between the pair, and they've both been telling us all week how much they like Carl Frampton. Miguel Flores saying he's learned from Carl, and Santa Cruz said he wants him again.
Your opponent coming in as a minus 10,000 favorite. You said you've embraced that underdog role, but are there any nerves? Is there any anxiety? What is your emotion like coming into the biggest fight of your life?
Keep counting me out. I'm enjoying the moment. Look at the beautiful people, and we're here. This is the biggest stage in boxing. I'm ready. Me and Leo are gonna put on the show. We're gonna steal the show.
How do you shock the world?
Intelligence, knowledge, skills. More than 20 years in this sport, and I'm gonna take full advantage of it Saturday night.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing that for sure. Let's head over to the WBA featherweight champ. Moving up, looking to make history by becoming becoming a 4-division champion this time around. You said you want to steal the show from the heavyweights. How do you do that?
Just go out there and give a war. You know, go out there, throw a lot of punches, try to please the fans. You know, I come here to fight for the fans because I owe it all to them. Thanks to them, I'm where I'm at. So, you know, thank you. I'm going to go out there and perform a great show for you guys.
We're looking forward to it. Thank you so much, Leo Santa Cruz. Guys, hey, I'll send it back to you.
Leo Santa Cruz
Here we go.
and
Just about ready to
Miguel
kick off
Flores.
for the main event of the evening, the heavyweight rematch we've all been waiting for. And now we're almost there. It is time for the Bronze Bomber, Deontay Wilder versus Luis King Kong Ortiz.
In the sport of boxing, what you've seen in the past never limits what you might glimpse.
So we're nearly up to the heavyweights and the one we've been waiting for. What do you expect to see on the scales? Obviously, Wilder always in immaculate condition, but how heavy do you think he'll be? And Ortiz, how light maybe will he be?
I'm expecting Wilder to be his usual fight, you know, his optimum fighting weight that he always comes in at. Ortiz is the big thing for me. We're hearing that he's going to come in 20 pounds lighter. He's worked so hard on his conditioning. He gassed out last time when he went for the finish, ran out of steam. Wilder came back and got the knockout. So I'm thinking the big thing here for me in this weigh-in is what weight does Luis Ortiz come in? Expecting him to come in considerably lighter.
Yeah, everything about him this week, he looks a different sort of person, but he is old, he is aging. There is no question that Father Time won't have helped in the 20 months. He has got 3 victories in that time, and still the only defeat is Deontay Wilder. All that amateur experience. But you know, we spoke to Ben Davison earlier, and you know, he said that Ortiz been around us. He's been around in Miami for years. I mean, it's like you don't quite know. You know, he will be the oldest heavyweight champion from Cuba, first from Cuba, oldest since George Foreman, who knocked out Michael Moorer here in 1994. So he'll be the second of all time. We're not quite sure sort of how old he is, but I tell you what, he's in incredible shape. That might be enough to give a really good challenge.
Yeah, well, his skills and his technical ability are unquestionable. Fantastic amateur pedigree. But he's really whipped himself into shape here. He's looked good all week. He looks confident. He's been smiling, looks happy. You know, he came so close last time, but punched himself out. So he's going to look to, you know, this is a big, big chance for him.
Ladies and gentlemen, with an undefeated record of 41 wins, no losses, 1 draw with 40 big wins coming by way of knockout, here is the longest reigning and most active heavyweight world champion today. Please welcome the undefeated and reigning WBC heavyweight champion of the world, the Bronze Bomber, Deontay Wilder.
Here he comes. And a rapturous reception. Deontay Wilder.
We invite the challenge with a record of 31 wins, 1 loss, 26 wins coming by way of knockout. Tomorrow night he is looking to avenge his only loss. Welcome to the scale at this time, the challenger Luis King Kong Ortiz.
Terrific shape for Luis Ortiz.
236.5 pounds, 236.5 pounds for the challenger Luis King Kong Ortiz.
236.5.
Now to the scale, the champion and renowned knockout.
You happy with that, Larry? 236.5.
I'm so excited. That's what we wanted. We wanted to be a little slimmer, a little faster. 136. That's exactly what we were looking for.
That's brilliant. Larry, the condition coach, and here's Deontay Wilder.
219.5 pounds for the champion. 219.5 pounds for Deontay Wilder.
He looks light, says Larry Wade, the conditioner for Luis Ortiz. He's happy. 236.5. Ortiz, the bigger man, but he is in great nick.
He looks in fantastic shape. I've never seen Luis Ortiz visually look in as good a shape. Yes, he is 40 years old. You know, are the legs still there at this stage, at this age of his life, at this stage of his career? But he looks in fantastic shape.
Wilder 4.5 pounds lighter than when he fought Dominic Brazil. So he presumably knew that Ortiz was going to come in light. Luis Ortiz weighing over 240 for his last few fights, so considerably lighter, and they've actually taken him up to 236.5. Here they are, head to head.
It's the main event of bronze bomber Deontay Wilder versus Luis King Kong Ortiz. The main event as Premier Boxing Champions presents live Fox Sports PBC pay-per-view.
Let's go, King Kong! Let's go, King Kong!
Hear this crowd? Luis Ortiz, I saw you smiling up there, saying something to Deontay as you guys faced off there. What was said?
Estamos sonriendo ahí, ¿qué fue lo que le dijiste a Deontay en ese momento? Que ya no tenemos más nada que hablar. Mañana es nuestra noche. There's nothing more to talk about. Tomorrow's our night.
Most definitely. You weigh in at 236 pounds. At 40 years old, is this the best shape you have ever been in your life?
A los 36, a los 40 años, Luis, es la mejor forma física que ha tenido. ¿Esta es la mejor forma física? Sí, estoy listo. Estoy listo. Es lo único que puedo decir. You're right. That's it. I'm ready.
Final thoughts for Deontay Wilder.
Let's go! Let's go!
Deontay. Nah, good luck for tomorrow. Good luck for tomorrow.
Good luck for tomorrow. All right. Well, the crowd went wild when the bronze bomber stepped on the scale. Let's go over and have a word with him now. Deontay Wilder, the WEC heavyweight champion of the world, defending his title for the 10th consecutive time, getting to do it right here in Las Vegas, where you won that belt initially. You say you can learn a lot and see a lot from looking into a guy's eyes. You said that Luis Ortiz, when you stared him down the last time, he wasn't afraid. What did you see this time around?
This time around, he know what it's going to be. You know, he know what happens the first time. He know what's going to happen the second time. He look good, though. You know, as a champion, you want to see your opponent look good and look in shape. So when it comes Saturday night, I won't have no mercy on him when I'm ready to do what I do. We know it's coming, but we don't know when it's coming. When it comes, bam, baby, good night.
Said it, don't blink, don't put your mouth phone down, don't go to the bathroom in the middle of this one. Anything can happen. What are your final words for Luis Ortiz in advance of this fight?
I really don't have nothing else to say to Ortiz. I just want to say to the fans, thank you, God, for the support, the love, you know, coming out. And one thing for sure, just don't blink, baby. It's going to be an amazing fight.
It most definitely is. How about a little bomb spot? I know you've done it a couple times already today.
Let's go with me, baby. 1, 2, 3,
Couldn't get away without doing that one. All right, hey, guys.
He's great fun, isn't he? Sometimes he's like an excitable child, Deontay Wilder, but he looks in terrific shape and ready to try and get another knockout win over Luis Ortiz. But all the talk about Ortiz, we had Larry Wade there, his conditioner, jumping up and down himself about the state that his fighter is in. I guess the big question is, in 12 weeks, is that the right thing to do? To get someone who's weighed a lot more previously and has had success right slim down? It's a risk, but it could be a risk that pays off.
Yeah, I mean, everyone has an optimum fighting weight. You know, down the lower divisions, you come in just inside as a heavyweight. You know, you don't have to make weight, but you'll still have an optimum fighting weight. You'll have a fight where you perform best at, and if you're too heavy or too much below that, it will affect your performance. Now, Ortiz has worked very hard on his conditioning. He says he's in great shape. He looks in great shape. You know, this is a big, big fight for him.
And here he is, the bronze bomber. Good to see you, Deontay. Nice to see you. How did you think Luis Ortiz looked on the scales? He's lighter. He's had 12 weeks preparation. What did you see looking up and down?
I mean, he looks real good, you know, and from a champion point of view, you want to see your opponent look like that. You want to see your opponent look like they put some type of effort in camp and preparation for a war, because Saturday night is going to be war And I just want to get the fans what they want to see, you know, and I do it each and every time I step in the ring, and Saturday night is not going to be no different.
You love the fans, don't you? There's a huge turnout here, thousands in attendance. It's an event in itself, the weigh-in, isn't it? And you like to entertain, don't you?
Oh, most definitely. This is what it's all about, you know. I know we have a job to do in the ring, but on the outside, you know, it's all about entertainment. It's all about giving the people what they want to see. And you know the Bronze Bomber like to show up and show out and entertain the people.
You've been cool and calm all week, doing loads of media interviews and relaxed. How do you feel when all that's done and you go back to your room? Are you chilled? Are you happy? Are you in the best possible frame of mind ahead of what could be a really dangerous rematch?
Man, I'm in the best shape that I can possibly be in for this rematch. I'm cool, calm, and collected. My energy is amazing, and you know, I'm just ready to go. At this point in time, you know, you get to the point where, you know, you're doing the interviews, you're seeing the people, everyone is pulling your energy different back in ways. But come tonight, I can really calm down, get in my form of meditation, really focus on this fight a little bit more, and get ready to perform for the fans and get the fans what they want to see, and that's a knockout.
Meditation's key for you, isn't it? And what do you do on the day of the fight, in the hours leading up to battle?
Yes, meditation is essential for me. You know, I use visualization with meditation, and from this point and leading up to the fight is what I'm going to be doing. I'll be thinking about him like I've been thinking about him all through camp, and now it's the time. The hours is counting down. The seconds is counting down as well. So, you know, I'm just ready to go at this point in time. I don't want to keep the fans waiting. I don't want to keep the fans that's going to be watching at home waiting as well. This is an amazing fight. This is one that you do not want to miss. And like I said before, don't blink.
It was thrilling, but it was long last time. What's the final prediction from the Bronze Bomber this time around, 20 months later, here in Vegas?
I mean, final prediction is what I've always have been doing my whole career, and that's a knockout. That's what people come to see the heavyweight do. They come to see a lot of power, and that's what I display. You know, God has blessed me with tremendous power, and I'm going to use it up till I can't use it no more, baby. So I'm looking forward to Saturday night.
We're looking forward to it as well. Rest up. Enjoy yourself. See you Saturday night. Thanks, Deontay Wilder, WBC heavyweight champion, defending against Luis Ortiz. Let's wrap it up, Matt. Great, he's been brilliant all week, hasn't he, Deontay? It's fantastic. You know, sometimes they get off stage. They've done one interview with the American broadcasters with Fox, but he comes down here. He loves his British fight fans as well. I know he's thinking about getting a house sometime somewhere around the Birmingham area, maybe next to you, Matt.
Yeah, I think I said that's Birmingham, West Midlands, not Birmingham, Alabama.
No, I think he is.
Yeah.
He said he wants to come into the middle of Britain. He loves England so much. He wants to get a house there. He loves the fans there, the people. He's obviously spent a lot of time in Sheffield. He's got Brits in his camp as well. He's almost been adopted by us too. I know we've got Anthony Joshua, Dillian White, and Daniel Dubois and all sorts coming through. Joe Joyce, so many British heavyweights, but almost like he's become an adopted one too.
Yeah, well, because the heavyweight scene is so on fire these last few years, Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, Dillian White you mentioned as well. You know, Deontay Wilder is that extra piece in that jigsaw. He's Andy Ruiz is there now, but up until the Joshua fight, it was very much Wilder was that other fighter. He was the one who WBC champion.
Just trying to grab Sean Porter, who's also a big fan of the British fight fans. That great fight he had with Errol Spence the other day. He's coming back. I knew he would. Oh. Sean Porter, great to see you. Great to see you.
How are you? Back, huh?
I knew you'd be back. I know you love the British fight fans.
I do. I love you guys. You guys are the best, and especially Sky. You guys do a wonderful job promoting me and all that good stuff. So thank you.
It was a wonderful fight, wasn't it, the other week with Errol Spence? How did you enjoy it? How did you look back at it?
You know what? I look back in it, and you know, no regrets. There was nothing I really did there or didn't do that wasn't expected. You know, I think in a lot of ways we still were able to shock the world and make a lot of fans out there happy.
Yeah, I thought it was the greatest performance you've had in a long while, and thank God Errol Spence is okay now too.
Yes, sir. Thank God he's okay, and at this point, just kind of making sure, want to make sure he surfaces and everything is all right on his side and his campsite.
So surely 2020 is going to unlock a number of big opportunities for you.
You know, and honestly, it's hard for me to ignore the fact that boxing is really going to open up. I think that Fox has done a terrific job this year. Our first year being on Fox, I think, was a big bang, and it's going to get even better. So for myself, I think everyone's looking for, you know, the next big thing for me. I'm I'm thinking Manny Pacquiao maybe. You know, we just saw that Floyd Mayweather announced that he's going to be back. So,
do you believe that?
I honestly I don't, but you know, who am I not to put my name in the mix?
Let's just talk about the heavyweight fights. First of all, tomorrow night, Deontay Wilder, Luis Ortiz. It was amazing first time around. What do you think this time?
It's, you know, there's just so many components to this fight. I mean, I think that the number one thing we can really look at is the fact that Luis Ortiz has trimmed down. Yes, he's 40 plus years old, but to do something like that at 40 plus, I mean, that says a lot to your dedication, to your team, and what you're really prepared to do on fight night. I personally thought that the fight up until the knockout was really, really close, the first fight that they had, so there's a number of ways this one could turn out.
And then 2 weeks' time, it's Andy Ruiz and Anthony Joshua once again. I mean, how do you see that unfolding? No one really predicted what happened in June. It was a massive upset. Do you think it will be the same again, or do you think Joshua will regain his title?
You know, it's all about what Joshua is going to do. You know, I think that it's up to him to be prepared, both physically and mentally, for this fight. You know, we can't ignore the fact that he was knocked out in the first fight. So you feel those punches again, what happens to you mentally, you know? Are you able to persevere and fight through? You know, so I think that those are some of the big questions that we have to ask going into that fight. Of course, me being American, me being closer to Andy than a lot of you guys, I'm rooting for Andy Ruiz in the rematch.
Sean, a pleasure. Thank you very much. I know you're in a rush. Thank you for stopping. As eloquent as always, the great Sean Porter. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Sean Porter there. Fantastic. Matt, bring you in just for a final thoughts. I tell you what, sorry, you know, we've been bringing in the real legends of the sport here tonight. It's been greightfun, isn't it? The weigh-in's been good. Obviously, we've had a couple of controversial ones to start us off. We wait and see what happens with A. Luis Nery and B, more importantly, Julio Ceja, who is so far over the weight. But, you know, you've got Leo Santa Cruz, the hors d'oeuvre, brilliant. Deontay Wilder, Luis Ortiz, fantastic, both in tremendous physical condition, both mentally seeming strong. You know, the fans are going to benefit.
Absolutely. I'm really expecting a good fight. I think Ortiz, he's whipped himself into shape. Wilder knows that Ortiz is a real threat. He had him out on his feet last time, punched himself out, gassed out. Obviously, he's worked very hard on his conditioning, doesn't want that to happen again. This is an intriguing battle. You know, Ortiz, very slick southpaw, great counterpuncher, very clever. You know, but Wilder just carries that absolute devastating, concussive one-punch power. So, as he says, don't blink.
That's really interesting listening to Sean there as well. You know, can't really split both heavyweight rematches. You know, Wilder has got the money on him here in Vegas, although I believe a little bit of late money has come on Luis Ortiz before even the weigh-in. So it'd be interesting to see how the odds move in the next sort of 12, 15 hours or so before the fight. But you know, he couldn't really sort of pick either. He was supporting Andy Ruiz, of course, because he's American. This is what heavyweight boxing needs, isn't it? These rematches, these big fights, and especially the way to end the year as well, which has been great.
Yeah, I mean, it's been an unbelievable year. You know, that upset in June was just, no one's seen that coming. And it's mad, really, when you say that about no one's seen it coming. It's a two-horse race. This is boxing. There's two people. Yeah, you know, there are such heavy favourites. You know, Wilder is a heavy favourite here, even though Ortiz had him out on his feet last time, and you know, if he hadn't gassed out, probably would have got the win. Yet he's still a massive favourite because he's got such good form coming into the fight. You know, the Brazil win was devastating back in May. So it's interesting times. The heavyweight division is so exciting. Ruiz, Joshua, probably people see that more of a 50-50 fight than they do this, because like you say, Wilder is a big favourite. But that's kind of a bit contradictory, because you know, last time out, Ortiz nearly did the job. So it's heavyweight boxing, and you couldn't make it up.
Now, before I let you go and hang out with your old mate Jamie Moore, who I know is probably going to be around here with Carl Frampton, take you for a coffee. Before that, let's just have a quick word about Calum Smith and John Ryder. Obviously, you know, we're disappointed not to be in Liverpool. We can't be in two places at once. It's a huge, huge night for Calum in Liverpool. There's the carrot, just like Deontay Wilder has with Fury, the carrot of Anfield maybe in June. Maybe a mega fight against the likes of a Golovkin, a Canelo, a Billy Joe Saunders, a Chris Eubank Jr. But he has John Ryder in front of him. We were here for the Canelo-Jacobs fight. John Ryder was terrific that night. You know, in pockets, in cameos, he can really produce. And Callum's going to have to be on his game. It's an interesting one.
Yeah, John Ryder's one of those very underrated fighters. He doesn't do anything particularly spectacular or or special, but he's very good, all-rounded, very complete fighter, very
and
clever.
Southpaw.
Tricky. He's small, and his smallness almost works as an advantage to him because it makes him awkward, difficult to see. He's got good judge of distance, quite clever. But Calum Smith, I think, is the best super middleweight in the world, and he'll be looking to put on a devastating performance.
I saw Caleb Plant as well earlier, who'd hoped that he would get in the ring with Calum Smith at some point. It's a fantastic division, the super middles. Will Calum go up to light heavy? So many questions to answer. We're going to get backstage and find out what is going on with this Julio Ceja fight, and also with Luis Neri. But for now, thank you very much for watching on all the different platforms. From Matt and I at a very, very interesting weigh-in here in Vegas. It's goodbye from now, but do not forget to tune in not only to Calum Smith in Liverpool Saturday night, but then the early hours, around about 2 o'clock, will kick off. Fantastic fights building up to the big one. It's Deontay Wilder defending his world heavyweight title, his version. The others will be in Saudi Arabia in a couple of weeks' time. It's all coming to you on Sky Sports this weekend, Sky Sports box office in a fortnight. Matt and I will be back with you.